Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Ashley here, Big Smoke Barbecue, and I've wanted to do this video for coming up to 2 years now, because 2 years ago I decided to start a Texas style craft barbecue business from home, replicating the same business model that Wilson's Barbecue does use for his home collections, and start from there. Now, 2 years ago we did our first one. It was July, actually the 2nd of July, and it was a huge success. We did lots more that year, and then last year we did one, maybe two, and that was it. And so in February this year I announced that I was going to be doing a one-off home collection, probably the only one, almost certainly the only one of the year this year. And we had at least double the amount of orders that we normally would have got when I first started doing these. So a huge step up from where we were before. And having not done any of the home collections for quite a while, I haven't had a chance to document how they all go and how we run them, and also kind of like a behind the scenes and just a sort of overview of what it is really, and how we run this business, and how we do the home collections from start to finish, making the pickles, making the pickled red onions, cooking the briskets, slicing, trimming all the meats, and kind of a little bit of a behind the scenes video, I guess, of that. So I just wanted to shoot this quick intro. As you can see, I'm in my van on the way back from work. I just wanted to do this quick intro to the video so it doesn't just start randomly. And so hopefully you enjoy this. It might not be the most entertaining video, and I do apologize in advance. There will be some videos that are portrait and landscape. I've tried to make sure that most of them are landscape from when I was recording them, but there may be a few sort of different perspectives. But hopefully it's entertaining enough. Hopefully it's not too boring. Hopefully you've learned a thing or two, or even just wanted to see how we run it, and just sort of, if you've ordered from us before, you might want to see how we do it. So this is our home collection, this is how we run it. And thanks for watching. If you really like the video, I hope that you would subscribe and press the like button, and comment as well. Please comment and let me know your thoughts on this video. It does help. Even negative feedback, at least I know whether I should be doing this or that, or maybe some suggestions for the future. I don't know, but hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully we do Texas proud in the UK, and catch us at some of our pop-ups. We're going to be extremely busy now from pretty much next week until November, and it's May now, so we're fully booked for the year. The business has grown exponentially over the last 2 years, and I wanted to showcase that in this video. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hope you enjoy. So it is Thursday here, and we are making the pickles for our trays. Now, we hand these out for free. They're just part of a complimentary thing when we hand out our trays at our events, and we also do this with our home collection. It's just a nice touch, I guess. They're all handmade. I'm trying to sort of show you the ingredients there, but I don't know if you can really see them, to be honest. But there's pepper in there, there's Lowry's, there's turmeric, there is dill, there's white vinegar, distilled white vinegar, there's also apple cider vinegar, there is obviously hot water, and cucumbers. Now, we do this on Thursday because then obviously it gives it a good enough chance to brine over the next 2 days before our service, because we don't want to serve them when they've only been there an hour. They won't taste very nice. So there they are. Those are the pickles. They'll be served on Saturday. Now, the same for the pickled red onions. I leave a little bit of skin in there, thanks to Dave Wilson's Barbecue for that tip on his masterclass with Chud's Barbecue. That makes them turn out real nice and pink. So we're just chopping them up there. Same sort of mixture. It's turmeric and apple cider vinegar, white vinegar, sugar. Here is our mustard barbecue sauce that we make and sell. There's also our barbecue sauce that we make and sell, and that will be going in our pots for our event. 8 o'clock Friday morning we started. Always got to have a coffee first, right, before anything else, and long day ahead. So getting the fire going with a blowtorch, just the oak splits, going to get them burnt down to coals, and then build up a real nice thick coal bed, which is really important for a long successful cook, and then get the meats on. Here's our pork shoulder. There's not really much to this, so I've kind of skipped through a lot of this part with the trimming. This one had a lot of fat on it, and then in places there were kind of bold spots. You can see one or two there already. It's just not ideal, but we use these hotel pans, the gastronom pans, for this. Shout out to Evan, Roy and Lewis for this tip. The way they season their meats is they put it in a big hotel pan, they measure out all the rub, and then they basically just mix it all together like I'm doing now, put the meat in there and cover it all, and you get really even coverage, you get no mess, and a much nicer finish, I think, at the end with the bark and everything else. So I do that all the time with every single item of barbecue that I season and trim now, other than ribs, because I don't really want a heavy coat of pepper on ribs. But this is our pork shoulder going in here. We just season this up now, salt, pepper, and as you saw there, maybe a little bit of Lowry's. I like to use Lowry's, especially on pork. I think it gives a nicer flavour and a nice colour as well, especially on ribs. But there you go, a little bit of Lowry's at the end. So there's our brisket. It's John Davidson's XM Gold. Now I'm going to skip through the trim of this because I've recorded the whole thing, and I'm going to do another video on that. It's about 9-10 minutes or so, and I don't want this to be half of it trimming brisket, half of it actually showing you how we do our event, because that's not what this video is about. So I'm not going to show you how to trim a brisket in this video, but I will do another video on that, especially with it being a UK grass-fed brisket. XM Gold from John Davidson's. It's very different to the grain-fed briskets that you get in the US, like the Creekstone Farms ones and things like that Franklin uses. Same seasoning method. Now it's all trimmed, just salt, pepper, Lowry's going in the gastronom hotel pan, and we're just gonna put that on the pit in a second. Nice to get even coverage, get the sides, make sure you get all the sides, and also this is just no mess, you know. Like if you season it from above, like on a chopping board or whatever, I see so much rub on these videos. The rub, just half of the rub that they are trying to coat the brisket with just disappears, you know, and you're wasting ingredients. And it's not so bad if you're just using a rack of ribs or cooking a rack of ribs, but if you're cooking 3 briskets like I did here today, a pork shoulder or 2, and like 6 or 8 racks of ribs, you know, you do rip through all the seasoning. So if you can use that pan, it's much advised. We're just getting the brisket on now. Smoker's up to temp. Going quite smoky to start with. I like to get that little bit of smoke on there. Like to make sure I've got a nice bit of smoke to begin with, so that the bark can form. Beef cheeks. Now, we're really lucky in the UK. These are from John Davidson's also. They're really meaty, and you'd hardly have to trim them at all. I mean, look at that. That's basically all I'm doing, just rounding them off. Didn't really have to bother with that, but just wanted to do that for nicer presentation. Again, the same seasoning method. Just dump that in there, and that's it. Takes hardly any time at all to get this on the smoker. So our pork belly, I like to cut these into strips and then round off the corners. Shout out to Dane's Craft Barbecue for that, Dane Weaver, for his method. I basically cook it the same way he does. He calls it bacon brisket, and it's just because he cooks the pork belly the same way he does a brisket. Sort of shapes it off, makes it look like a brisket, cooks it like a brisket. It's amazing. Season these up now, and then the same method, same seasoning, same everything. Put it on the smoker and do that. Repeat that for all 3 of these pork bellies. Now with our ribs, we're going in with the Swift ribs. You can get these from Farm Foods. They're £10 a rack. They are amazing. They're the best ribs I've ever cooked in terms of the consistency, as well as the meatiness and the quality of the ribs. These are St. Louis cut, so you really have to do very minimal trimming. I'm just taking off the end bone there and kind of rounding them off a little bit. I'm not taking the membranes off. I was so against that before. I was like, oh, you need to take the membrane off. I can't cook ribs without doing that. It's gross. But you know what? As I've cooked so many racks of ribs now, I had 7 racks or 8 racks of ribs to cook in this event, and I just was not prepared to take the membrane off. And you know what? Actually, I think it's nicer. I think you keep the fat in there. I really think they're juicier, and you get a better product at the end. So I don't really taste the difference. I can't see how it makes any difference whatsoever. I used to score them like Mad Scientist Barbecue suggested a couple of times in his videos, but I don't do that anymore either. I just leave it as it is and cook them as they are. As I said, I don't trim and season ribs the same way as I do for all the other meats. I season these manually. Put the pepper on first and then the Lowry's. That's a good tip as well. Stop the Lowry's from not sticking. So here's the smoker here. The gator pit's running nice and hot. We've got the beef cheeks in there. We've got pork bellies. They're looking real good. We've got our briskets and our pork shoulder behind that, and our log to stop the heat as much. Just 161, so a little bit longer left on those beef cheeks there. But it was a lovely day for it. Nice day. Same as the day after, actually. It was really hot, which is quite cool, especially in April. And so there are ribs there, and also the bits from the trim for the briskets, I use those for my birria. So I try and keep the brisket trim in uniform big pieces. Now we've put some of our ribs on the Traeger. This is the first time I've done this because I only bought the Traeger back in January. It's just to free up space because we had so much food on there, and I've moved the briskets as well onto the Cactus Jack because of this. I needed more space than I've ever needed before because we had so many orders. But that's not our usual practice for an event, but it was fine for our home collection. That wasn't a problem. So fast forward, as you can see, it's a little bit darker now. We're just going to go in with our sauce for our ribs. We're going to just glaze these. We're not going to put them back on the smoker or anything. These ribs are done. We are just going to sauce these up and put them in the warmer overnight now. It's basically a mix between our mustard barbecue sauce and our barbecue sauce mixed together with a bit more water and a bit of sugar. So it's more like a sugar syrup that just coats them real nice and gives it a really nice flavour. And same with the pork belly, no sauce on that, but just a bit of a spritz to stop it from drying out. That's just apple cider vinegar and water in there, and those are all going to go on the warmer. Now they're all done and ready to go. The brisket here, I am doing a foil boat. I don't like wrapping them in butcher paper anymore. I used to be one of these people that would only ever do that with tallow and butcher paper, but don't know if you know, but in the UK, butcher paper is very expensive. So these are just finishing off on the Traeger. They've already got the bark that I want. I'm just waiting for these to come up to temp, so they're on the Traeger. This is the day after now, Saturday, 12:30. Our first orders were at 1 o'clock. The garden is just full of just chaos, and yeah, all went well. This is our beef cheeks after they were smoked and then confit. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention that they were confit as well in the fat that we made some tallow out of and cooked overnight. Absolutely amazing cut, so underrated. Here's our brisket, unwrapping it from the foil boat. Now, amazing brisket. These turned out so well. Here we go. We're going to cut into this now. I'm not going to do a review on it because I didn't have time at the time, but this is just basically an insight to how it looked when we sliced into it. I did a reel on this on Instagram, so you've probably seen it already if you follow me on Instagram. But here's the brisket, the money shot, if you like. Amazing. Turned out so well. Just so juicy and perfect. Really happy with that. Great smoke ring, great flavour, really tender. Just a quick overview there of me making some tacos, the birria tacos. These are probably our most popular item. People actually love these. And these are the Swift Farm Foods ribs. Amazing ribs. They cook so well and they're so meaty. Perfect ribs. And this is our pork belly. Such an underrated cut as well. I mean, it's amazing. It's actually my partner's favourite. She loves the pork belly that we do. It's so nice, and I can't recommend you try it if you haven't already. This is a leftover tray for me and my father-in-law. There was a few things on there we tried. They were a bit different. Beef cheek and chimichurri taco, as well as a brisket bun there with our pickles, barbecue sauce, a few other things, and some homemade cowboy butter, which was amazing. There's a kielbasa sausage, hot link, pickles, our sauces, ribs, birria taco, and some other things. It all just went so well. Mac and cheese as well. We just went so well. We couldn't be happier with the event and how it all went. So thank you to everyone that ordered. And just before I go, I just want to say another thank you to everyone watching this video. I'm sorry if the audio and everything seemed a bit rushed and like bang, 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 like one thing after the other, but I just wanted to kind of speed through it a little bit. I didn't want to drag it on. I didn't want to kind of go over something in 5 minutes that could have taken 30 seconds. I appreciate it probably wasn't a very in-depth video of how we do things step by step, but I will be doing videos on brisket trim, brisket cook and everything, because it's different compared to US brisket. It's a completely different thing, and I wanted to do videos on that because when I first started cooking briskets and this style of barbecue, I felt like it was always tailored to the US market in terms of what you can buy readily available and things like that. So I want to do videos on that for the people in the UK watching this that would like to cook briskets but don't know where to get good brisket from and all that kind of thing. So yeah, apologize if it was a bit rushed, but I just kind of wanted to go through it in a sort of reduced fashion. I didn't want to, you know, prolong anything. I didn't want to ramble on for ages. So thank you so much if you watched it and you're at this point already. It means you've stuck through it all. Hopefully that was insightful enough. I would have loved to have got more footage on the day of us actually serving food to customers, But honestly, it was manic. From 1 till 6, we had no spaces left, which means that every 10 to 15 minutes there was an order to be placed, to be plated up and sorted and given out. So the chopping board was literally, you know, the knife was going constantly. There was meat on the chopping board all the time. There were trays, there everything, it was everywhere, and I didn't really have a chance to stop. So would have liked to have got more footage of that on the actual day itself, so apologies for that. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks, bye.